going into the cave. The road to Hana.
Welcome everyone to our video on the road to Hana. We are excited to share everything that we learned and experienced. I've been on the road to Hana about 4 times in my life, and I've had varying experiences, but overall it's always an epic journey.
And I have so many crazy memories of my one trip to the road to Hana that it takes up the space of 4 different trips to the road to Hana.
So the road to Hana is a 64-mile road to the small town of Hana in Maui. So you take the trip, and when you commit to go on the road to Hana, you're kind of committing to a 10 or 12-hour day, depending on how many stops you take.
All day.
It's crazy. And not only are you on the road all day long, but you're not on like a straight road, like a road that's easy to drive.
Yeah.
This highway is affectionately called by the locals Divorce Highway. Why? Because couples get into so many arguments about the person's driving skills on this road.
I'm sure it's on one of the most dangerous roads in the whole world.
Yeah.
Or, especially the United States.
So this road has 620 curves, 59 bridges with 100 to 300 foot cliff drops, sometimes on both sides, usually just on one side.
So I drove, I think the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And basically you go from, 2 lanes, 1 lane going in each direction to, maybe there's a little bit of passing lanes, and then you pass a little small town. And it's the last stop, like the last stop on Earth, essentially. And then it just starts to get really windy, but really pretty. And so it's like there's a line drawn in the island where the beautiful waterfall tropical rain would start and where it stopped. And you enter in, and it just starts to get really majestic. But the danger, of the road increases.
And we went just at the end of the rainy season. Last time I was in Hawaii, I was actually driving. I drove the road with my sister, and we went out, and we quickly decided that we needed to really make a decision what we were going to do, because it started raining so much. Trees were falling over, and then we were waiting for a tree to be removed off the road. And the thing is you're in the rainforest, and Mother Nature doesn't care if it's a road or not. And so what was a cute little waterfall by the road then becomes a waterfall onto the road. So it can be really quite dangerous. And the rainy season in Hana itself, because that's the rainy side of the island, goes all the way from August 12th to May 13th. So almost 9 months of the year. It is very rainy. So you do want to be careful when you're planning the trip, and be prepared maybe for a plan B, given the case of inclement weather.
And so the 2 lanes, when you go to a corner, almost always go down to 1, and there's no notification. There's no flashing light. There's no stop sign. You're going from 2 lanes where you're probably going, 55, something like that, to now it's 1 lane, and you're going to run into each other if somebody doesn't get, because you're about ready to cross a bridge. And there's just this kind of little lever. It's kind of like a pinball lever. When you play pinball machines and you have the 2 little things that swat the ball. That's what it was like. And it's like, okay, now you're in 1 lane, and surprise, there's a truck.
And we stopped at mile marker number 2, actually, which is a fruit stand with fresh coconuts, and it's called Twin Falls. And you can do a little hike and see some waterfalls. It's really fun.
Found our first waterfall in Hawaii.
And it's 2.
There's 2 of them. They're twins. Mile marker number 2 on the road to Hana. Yeah, every bridge, you're going to see a waterfall. And it's really fun to just take it easy, and, kind of admire and, really enjoy the waterfalls under each bridge. You can pretty much stop at almost all of them. And there's so many things to do along the way. We got to do some really epic stops.
Yeah, and there's several websites that can explain all of the stops, and so you can go and kind of pick and choose which ones that you would like. But I would say overall Twin Falls was the stop because it was easy to see the waterfalls, and then you can get some banana bread, and banana bread's like a thing in Maui. I don't know why. It's like everybody always has banana bread, and they love it there. And then at mile marker 10, there's the Garden of Eden. I think it's an arboretum. And it's really beautiful. If you have time to go, that's amazing. Just all the flowers and the local kind of wildlife as well as foliage. It's a really immersive experience. So then we went on, and I would say not as overwhelmed by Hana itself.
Yeah, we really enjoyed the trip and the stops to get there. And we did just a day trip. We planned on being back. Where did we stay?
We stayed in Halekamaole
Yeah,
Beach
so over
3.
by the resorts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so we planned on being back, which, that was how we planned our whole day. So we didn't stay as much as some people do. Some people
Right.
stay in Hana for quite some time because it takes a good bit to get out there. But what we did do when we were out there was some really fun roadside waterfalls.
Mm-hmm.
We went to a national park and lava tubes. One of the most amazing lava tubes. I mean, there's only a handful in the world. This was a treat.
So these lava tubes were discovered accidentally on someone's property, and they kind of just left it there, built some stairs down, and let the tourists go for it. It really is an amazing experience. It feels like you're not going towards anything, and then they give you a flashlight, and they're like, here you go, enjoy, and you walk down, and it's almost like you feel like you're going to go into a hobbit hole, but then the stairs just go down. And then you're in one of the world's largest lava tubes, which pretty much...
It was like third or fifth largest lava tube in the world.
It pretty much looks like caves.
Yeah, but it's lava, and it's a tube that you walk through. Guys, the staircase going down was so beautiful. It had light coming through, and the flowers and the grass. It was just a hole in the ground, and you wouldn't know it was there. It's just in the middle of a farm field and close to Hana.
The hours, I think, are limited there, so do be careful. I remember when we were going, we were trying to plan it all specifically. Sometimes with these kinds of attractions, there's only certain hours they are open and days they're open. So make sure you do check on that. I think it was $10 or $12 per person. It was a great experience and just phenomenal to think that was where the lava was flowing through after a volcanic explosion, and we're just kind of meandering around enjoying it. There are two options for the road to Hana. Most people would say the safer route is to go to Hana. There's a black sand beach there. It's really nice. We actually went to, I think, the only resort in Hana Resort, or the Hana Maui Resort or something. And we had lunch there, which was really great because I'm not as big of just, pull over and eat something. But there's lots of fun places to stop if you just want to pull over and have street food. There's also coconut ice cream, which I definitely have had a few times in my life. That's really good. The next thing that we really wanted to go do is to continue on past Hana. Now, this road can get a bit more tricky. Our rental agreements will allow you to go on the road to Hana. A lot of times they don't want you to go around and complete the road. You have to be really aware what the car rental agreement says they will cover with their insurance, because there are, in fact, 2 roads in Maui they will not cover.
Most people recommend you drive to Hana and then you turn around and you go exactly back the way that you came, which was on the, I think, north side of the island, instead of driving all the way back around the loop.
It's Highway 31 is the name of the road to Hana, and so they want you to drive kind of around the bottom of Haleakala, the big volcano, and then drive back around. They also, they will let you drive around the other way, but it is still a really long drive, and it's much slower. What they don't want you to do is there's a dirt road, and they don't want you to go on that one. So there's a part where it turns into a dirt road, and it's 1 lane, and if you're on that, they won't cover you. Just FYI. But you can still go beyond Hana and then turn around and go back if you want. It's not like you have to stop at Hana. So we continued because there's a very beautiful place called Haleakala National Park, where they have these waterfalls. They're called the 7 Sacred Pools. I think it's pronounced Ohio Gulch. And oh my gosh, it's beautiful. There's black sand beaches there. There's so much to do in terms of like hiking and walking around these very lava rich rocks and sand. And really it is the lava that has been kind of disintegrated over the years that creates these black sand beaches, and they're really quite phenomenal and kind of otherworldly. So what would you recommend to people who are just going on the road to Hana for the first time? What should they bring? What should they be prepared for?
I think definitely you should bring water and food. So if you don't stop anywhere, you've got enough to eat throughout the whole day, because you really don't know where you're going unless you've already been there and you know what stops are. But everybody just kind of runs their own thing. They're all small businesses that are owned by single, people or married people that are just out there. So you kind of just don't know what you're going to get into. And we had a convertible. It was worth every penny to have a convertible driving through there, because you just don't want to lose any of those views. It's really special, really, really special. And then I'd say just be like easy going with your schedule. Know that things are going to take longer. It's going to be delayed for whatever reason. There's going to be a truck that's doing a delivery and they just decided to block the whole highway for 20 minutes. You just got to take it easy that day. You got to go Hawaiian time.
That's right. Island time is good time. I would add to that bug spray, because there are quite a few bugs. Think about bug spray. Make sure you bring your bathing suit, because there are lots of places to stop and swim, either in the ocean or in like waterfall pools. Just make sure you check, because there are some pools that are not good to swim in, and you don't want to go in the ones that have some kind of
and don't stick
disease.
your head in a pool that looks a little funky,
And I would say also remember to bring some cash, because a lot of these small shops, they don't accept credit card, or there's no reception, which is another thing. You might not have cell phone reception. Just be forewarned. It will be spotty. You will lose it at places. So don't go on the road to Hana anticipating your iPhone will take you everywhere you need to go. Make sure you have a solid plan when you start out. The last thing I would say that makes the trip really epic is some really awesome soundtrack music, like The Lord of the Rings or Narnia, and you're like, whoa, I'm on the side of a cliff with like huge waterfalls and trees everywhere.
Maybe not Lord of the Rings. Maybe a little bit more of like John Williams' greatest hits.
There you go.
Yeah, that's better. Lord of the Rings.
Might scare you.
I drove. Your nerves are already shot,
So guys, thank you so much for joining us on this trip to the road to Hana. If you have any questions about this road, feel free to leave your questions in the comments below. We'd love to hear as well about your experiences. How was the road to Hana for you? What did you do? And how did you survive?